to agree with the recent legislation proposed by Senator Wyden and Representative DeFazio. It's important to understand that the county commissioners have absolutely zero control over what happens with the ONC lands. Keep in mind that anyone that tells you otherwise is selling you a bill of goods. But the current county commissioners gave away any say Lane County might have had on the ONC lands when they voted to give the Association of ONC Counties the right to speak for Lane County. We need to consider leaving the association and finding our own voice. That being said, we need to advocate for responsible forest practices in Lane County. I recently read an academic paper on the benefits of small forest fields on public lands and a sustainable timber industry. I think this is a good place to start. We need to make sure our county government spends the money wisely it receives from the timber industry. This means investing in job creation, public safety, and public health services.
Kevin?
I appreciate the intention of Congressman DeFazio and Senator Wyden in trying to provide a solution to end the timber wars that have polarized Lane County for generations. I think their approach is wrong because increased logging will not bring new jobs or significant economic benefits to Lane County. That ship has sailed. Not enough time in a minute to go through the statistics, but the woods are mechanized, the mills are automated, so we actually can get more value out of our forest through making use of the recreation economy and the living natural resources that it can provide now and increasingly in the future, and making our county work by our own bootstraps, not by federal handouts. Jose?
Thank you for the question. Pardon me. I also have written a piece on logging, and I invite your collective attentions to my webpage, joseortal.com. In there, I have a piece that talks about stewardship logging. Okay? Stewardship logging is a best practice because indeed, as Joanne has indicated, at the county commission level, we have, as commissioners or prospective commissioners, no say in what happens either in Salem or, for that matter, in Washington, D.C. In addition to that, I was recently asked by a Lane County legislature to give his chief of staff data from which they could start talking about what to do in Salem regarding prospective amendments to the tax code that may include in the coming February session or in 2015 legislation that may in fact talk about stewardship logging at the state level. So I think stewardship logging is best practice, and indeed Mr. Matthews on his Facebook pages has indicated that insofar as the components of stewardship logging, that is the way to go. The ship indeed has sailed insofar as the ONC being able to fund us for now or in the future. Thank you.
Jack?
DeFazio and Wyden are doing incredible work. It's unfortunate that politics makes them take tentative baby steps towards their goals. I'm talking about a more direct approach, a moratorium on shipping raw logs out of the county altogether. I'm talking about taking the money from the timber sales and putting it in a trust where we pay ourselves first and eventually give the remainder to the federal government. I think that we need to open our mills, and if we have these logs here and we're milling them, a vast amount of jobs are going to be created. Maybe 10% of our income comes from timber, but only 1.5% of our people are in the industry. And DeFazio has a really good plan of kicking the Forest Service out of here and let us manage our own affairs.
Faye.
Thank you. As a commissioner of the ONC Act was instituted in 1937, and the purpose of the ONC Act was that those lands used to be private lands. And the Act was established in such a way that we recognized that those lands used to be private and that they provided income for counties to provide services and jobs for our communities to be healthy. And I believe the most important thing is that I need to fight for that Act, and I need to fight for our communities. outcome of the act. And right now, we have 2 plans in play. Soon, those plans hopefully will come together and become one. I think there's deficiencies in both areas. One, I'd like to see riparian zone protections from the headwaters to the ocean so that we